Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa, episode number 16 in our series. We're going to jump right back into Army Group South, I think, and we'll get the turn going from there. We should have some fun with Army Group South since we have this pocket we're going to collapse. What else do we have going on? I think a lot of the complexity or the challenge in Army Group South is going to be managing all these different armies and when they take a rest and switch off of Blitzkrieg to sustained postures. That's going to be a tough call. Like for example, 4th Romanian. I think this one will switch over this turn. I want 4th Romanian and eventually 3rd Romanian as well, just to switch over to maybe, sustain, maybe even defensive at some point. I don't necessarily want that. These are going to be kind of like line holders. They don't have much combat strength. Sometimes having a small, light, as far as stacking limit goes, it's kind of nice to have smaller units. Sometimes. So let me see. I just want to get, one can get over here. I think this one can also get over there. Not gonna worry about that. I want to double up as much as possible to prevent. Yeah, I think we'll do this. Triple up here even. I just want to prevent any more casualties, and that will hopefully discourage things. So we definitely, probably next turn, after these guys are set in place, and again, I'm going to switch their stance this turn probably to sustained. They don't need to do anything. They don't need to cross this river. They just need to hold it, and maybe contribute if we want to do multiple-sided attacks. When eventually the army... I'm expecting these guys to roll over the top. They're going to cross the Bug as early on as they can, and then just push east. So this is almost, we can actually use this just as a defensive river front. Okay, 17th Army is going to be very active in clearing this pocket because they are the ones who are going to be able to get a lot of surrounds. So that's the goal, except for this southeasternmost one. This is definitely not going to be, we may not even use, I'm not sure how much we'll use 17th Army for that. But starting on the west, try to clear the mountains. Basically, I just want to attack these guys before they get too many other... let's do all 3 here, and then 1 here. And probably I should be using the weakest. Yeah. Okay, so 390 out of 400 with 80% concentric bonus. I lost my train of thought there, but basically I just want to surround multiple sides. I'm hoping that their combat strength is pretty low after several turns of being cut off. And, a lot of these units are depleted, but we do see 3 infantry, so it's going to come down to how strong those guys are, but here we go. Okay, that went marvelous. So I'm guessing that their readiness was very low to begin with. 2 units are just simply broken, won't make the retreat. A lot of the other units are retreating with a substantial number of forces, but at some time, actually, I forgot, when you have this many, they're probably way over the attack stack. I didn't even look, and you can go back in the video and see what the attack stack, what their attack stack value was. Oh, they started at 20 readiness and they're down to 5 now. Okay, that's very good. So that went swimmingly. I'm very happy with that. And might as well drop or push both of the guys who made that attack forward. Next up will be the mountains to the south. We don't really need 17th Army to well, I guess all these guys, they've already paid the price to enter, so we'll have them enter. And you know what? Yeah, at least one of them is going to attack in the mountains in the south. Because that is a vulnerable point, we would like to attack there. We just want to minimize the river crossings, so we'll probably get like a 34. That looks perfect to me. And they have pretty good readiness, but what is the readiness? 35 is also 89. Oh yeah, I'm sure what we're looking at here is actually the maximum these guys can get. Their readiness is minus 11%, so that's the best they can do is 89. You can see fatigue is really building up. We're going to have to do rest for a lot of these armies very soon. And it's a pretty natural point to do it after we clear this pocket. Maybe get them to the front and then rest, or cycle rests. In the south, you actually have the luxury that you have enough units to cover the front, even if one army has to pull back for a moment. And that's even beyond using the Panzer Group. But enough talk about that. Let's get to the battle, the task at hand. Of course, we want at least one person to attack into the mountains. I think this unit's going to attack from that area. Or do they? I think I am going to pull back one of these units to help attack here. Yeah. Okay, we'll do this. And then 1, 2, 1, 1. We need 1 unit from here. So, yeah, the funny thing is, this concentric bonus doesn't go up at all, even though we are attacking from an additional side, just because now these were all 11th Army, and now we're integrating 3rd Romanian, and now we're going to integrate 17th Army as well. Let's see. I'll take this 62. You know, this is probably something I shouldn't be underestimating, so I'll probably, in fact, take the 50 and the 62. In fact, you know what? I'm going to take the 75 instead. So that gives us 75% concentric. We have room for, you know, somebody else to pile on in. And you know what? I'm going to swap this guy out for that one. It gives us a little bit more, 75%, 427. We're a little closer. I guess, shoot, we don't really... Did I move these guys in? Let me just check. Yeah, this guy is free to move in as well. So that's an individual who can do an attack on the north. Alright, now I gotta do this whole thing again. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna take the 67 and not the 42. And over here, let's take the 75 and the 62, and then we should have a 51 and a 52. Yeah, so you could attack. That will put us right at the limit. So I'm gonna just consider that the magical sign that that's the right thing to do. And on we go. Good luck. And shoot. What I'd like to see is theirs. Okay, they're at 357, so they definitely aren't violating the attack stack limit. Probably because they're depleted. Anyway, took a few losses here. I guess that's probably because we're attacking to a mountain, but nothing can... In fact, this is insane. Actually, none of their units are retreating. Every single one of them has been completely eradicated. And I did not look, I don't remember, it was about 18,000 the last attack, the number of losses. So we add, I mean, we're probably at around 1,000. I mean, I'm just guessing, I didn't even add the cav. I'll have to go, I mean, somebody else will have to do the math on all the ones we've defeated in this pocket. I wanted to get a count, I just forgot to look. There's a way to go back and look in the battle. I probably should sniff that out, but I won't do it on camera. It might take too much time. 57,000, call it 58, plus the 20 or so. So yeah, we're looking at about 80,000 that we've eliminated already, which is not counting any equipment. So yeah, definitely off to a fantastic start in the first 2 hexes. We'll see how the finisher goes. I'm gonna have anybody who can. Their movement east is probably the best thing. Yeah, so something like that. We'll wait for this one to be eliminated. There might be people who can go north. And again, I'll show it eventually. We'll do a little like future planning here, but I want to distribute these different armies to different parts of the front. They're not all just going to head east. That one goes as well. And this one stays. That one, and that one, I can't do any more movement. Yeah, so you're in position to attack. And these two are in a position to attack. And then we just need, yeah, 1 unit from these other ones. Even the armor attacking here wouldn't be a bad idea, but I'd rather not waste that, so I'm not going to do that. All right, 1. Anybody who can attack from this side? That is interesting. I didn't think about that. It would be nice to have 1 person attacking. Boy, why didn't I consider that? Oh, okay, I know what I can do here. So we won't be able to get anyone to attack from the southern mountain, but what I can do is actually split the forces like this, and I can get fully 17th Army to attack, which seems to be a more intelligent decision than what I was going to do. Holy crap, why is the readiness of these guys only at 50? Alright, we'll take just that guy. 90, you're in. 95, you're in. Okay. Then you're in. Well, this 30 can't attack. It's a shame that 30 can't attack. We do have 150% bonus, and we're at 4. But look at this, we're at 414 versus 599. So they're going to take an attack stack penalty. But I feel like we're not really attacking with enough people. Let me see if I can get anybody else in here. Very unlikely, unfortunately. So I didn't plan this maybe perfectly. But wait, no, you're also... What? What is wrong? I'm gonna have to include maybe a few more people up here. I'm not sure why their readiness is so low, but you know what? We cannot, unfortunately, afford not to include them. So you're in, and you know what? Take the 53 and the 68. It puts us more towards the attack stack limit. I think that's going to be good enough. So we'll hope the concentric bonus and the fact that these guys have been cut off for a while, I'll hope that those two things are just going to put us forward to victory. Yeah, well, it did. So 80,000 before, add another 87,000. Let's call it 90. I'm rounding up a little bit, probably a little too much, but about 170,000, maybe slightly under that, taken out in this pocket. I mean, this is... I really can't exaggerate this. I mean, that is enormous. That is an enormous victory. And, you know, at the cost of, what was it, like 1,000 units? So, it's nice to do your work, you know, diligently get these guys cut off and all that, and you do reap the rewards. Big, big, big rewards. Okay, so now we have a whole lot of units to push east. Yeah, so, I mean, it's funny to think that 1st Panzer Group just raced ahead, now it's changing postures. They also, I think, are probably pretty fatigued at this point. Although the motorized and armored units don't get fatigued, but yeah, the other infantry are... We could, if we wanted, always just play a card to rest those individual infantry divisions, because the other ones don't build up fatigue. They don't need as rest as much. But there's also mechanical breakdowns and stuff that you can kind of you can reduce some of that if you do a rest. Okay, so let's see. What do we want to do here? 11th Army is destined. So the way I want to do it, almost everyone is going to be destined for north of the river, but the 11th Army is going to kind of stay local. They're not going to go too far north. 17th is probably going to go and help out 6th Army. Whew, sorry, I had to sneeze. Yeah, so I think 17th is destined to go north, and then probably with 6th Army will share this very open spot, and they're also going to be eventually joined by 1st Panzer Group there, which means 17th will probably be on the southern part of it. They're probably going to be right around the level of Cherkasy as a weighted average of the mean geographical mean of their forces, something around this latitude, I guess. I'm not sure if this map is actually east-west perfect, but yeah, close enough, right? Alright, but we're going to want to start moving these guys over. There's a lot of movement. This means that this turn might actually take a while longer, just for the fact that we're going to be moving a lot of people. In general, I'm going to favor units going over the river than going one further under the river. So yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. That's the best situation. We can get them all the way over. That's good. Yeah, now, this is the Romanian forces. 3rd Romanian is actually probably destined to just go pure north. So we guess we can't go there. We can go here, though. That's what I'll do. You're 3rd Romanian, so yeah, you're heading north. Basically head towards Kiev. These are the ones I have slotted, I think, in my head to hold this little pocket. To basically support the southern flank of Army Group Center. Because the Romanian forces, they're not going to be like big offensive units, obviously. So, do this. And this is back to 11th Army. Well, you guys can just push your way east for now. 3rd Romanian, so... I think I'll move you here. I guess it won't matter much, but you're going to go across the actual bridge. You won't have to do a river crossing. Okay. This is 17th. No one else here can move. I'll move you there. You won't be able to move then. Okay, you actually have some pretty good movement. All set here. We have so many forces. It looks like some of them here can still move forward. Indeed. Ooh, okay. This is 11th. Okay, good. Since it's Romanian, I have to make sure it's, you know, is it Romanian army or is it 11th army? The first armor, this is interesting. Romanian armor, where do we want them? Well, I think it makes sense, obviously, to move them north of the river. So I think I'll just move them here. Makes sense to me. I don't think they'll do an attack on the city itself, but maybe they'll do a flanking attack to cut off, to destroy 45th Tank Division. They might even do something grand, like run around and then cut them off, and then we can do elimination of one of the last Soviet non-conscript forces in the area. There's a few over here. 2, this one, which is super depleted anyway. Not that we really have to worry about its combat capability. Okay, I like seeing that. Well, if you can't get across the river, you might as well move further east. Since again, 11th Army is probably destined to stay pretty far south. The way I envision it is this one armor can maybe do some things armor-like. not a whole lot you can do with a single armor unit, but for whatever we can do with it, we'll try to. Whereas most of the armor, I imagine most of... Is it Kleist? Forget who's... Yeah, von Kleist. So von Kleist's forces will mostly be operating well. What do you know? Funny enough, around Kharkov. Okay, so did we get everyone done here? I might be able to just go back at the end of the turn off camera and do some more, so we can actually get across. I'm not sure if I want to do that or not, but these people move pretty far forward, so we've made good progress. It's going to be really cool to see the before and after picture of this, where it's like totally clumped around the mountains around Proskuro, and then, immediately by the end of the turn even, huge exodus of forces, huge push to the east. Okay, what else do we want to do? Well, we're changing postures here, so I don't really think we want to do much as far as attacking. Don't really need to. The one thing we wanted to do was maybe cut off the HQ. That would have been great, but, that ship has already sailed. So we're just going to let them bring up their conscript units. It's unfortunate, but it's unavoidable. And I'll probably just keep 1st Panzer Group moving forward. We want this unit to be helping on the attack in the city, so we'll move him close to that. Yeah, I guess the one thing we're definitely going to want to do is... 6th Army is going to move here so that we can do... I'll probably do like a movement here and then back down. And this guy will move up to the bridge just to, secure more territory. Now we have a rail link between all these places. I don't know if that's going to matter or come into play whatsoever. But yeah, we can... So these guys are not supposed to be up here ultimately, but, they got to wait for the third Romanian army to come all the way up from Proskuro, which is going to take some time. And probably what I should do in the meantime is just... And in fact, I'm going to do it this turn. I'm going to rest the 3rd Romanian as well as the 4th Romanian, if we can. I hope we can rest both of them. I don't know if I can't remember if you can rest more than one division or army at the time. I think you can, but we'll find out. These guys are going to keep moving forward. So this is the final, probably the end turn resting point for 6th Army headquarters. We'll move forward. Got to stay in range, obviously. I like this. I would have liked to go to Cherkasy, but we can't get there and still keep the 4th Mountain in the north in operational range, which we would like to do. I do like this little mountain area as a potential crossover point, attack point, I don't know. And 6th Army is actually probably going to rest this turn and do the posture switch. So I was thinking about moving forward, but you know what? We don't really need to. We can just keep these guys where they are. Yeah. Actually, it's funny. The minus 25% that they have for Blitzkrieg is still less... it's still worse than the only minus 20% you get for switching postures. So in some ways, it's actually more defensive when you're switching postures. It's not. In some ways, it simply is. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I don't want to invite an attack because we won't be able to counterattack next turn. So just leave that there for now. And the headquarters is going to start its move. I think we'll just move it here for now. Don't need to move too far. There's no reason for the headquarters to be leading the charge, obviously. Okay, what else? So nothing in the south. Any other things here? So I could do an attack, and I thought about doing an attack on the 19th tank here. But we're going to have better combat strength next turn. I guess the one reason why we should do it, and maybe I will, is because I don't want to be attacked by them. So we will just do an attack on both sides, and hope this goes well. Yeah, I would consider that well enough at least. I'm not even sure if I want to move in here, but yeah, we just took out 4 T-26s, reduced their readiness. Who would even move in there? I guess what I'll do is I'll move the Hungarian motorized forward. We can't do a follow-up because the conscripts are garrisoning that. I'll move this unit forward, and I mean it leaves us a little bit weak as far as them being able to retake territory unless I move this unit all the way forward here, which I can do. And that takes a minimal amount of fuel. It's only 30 movement points to do that. So you know what? Yes, I will do that. And that should keep us... The only hex that we will not be able to take is this one. They'll take that one back. That's okay. But we'll hold on to the rest of this, and you know, we're in position. I guess First Army is even more... Our First Armored is even better positioned to do some kind of cutoff. Okay. This turn has taken way too long, so... Okay, the last thing I think I'll do is I will move this motorized down south so that we're fully surrounding. I wanted to move the Hungarian. Well, F it, at this point I might as well move both down. I don't really care about occupying this hex, so we'll do a little bit of magic here. I'll rotate this guy into Cherkasy and move him here. And then the Cav, I might as well move here. I just want to use the Cav in the attack on the city because they are better in urban fighting. Yeah, and if they choose to occupy this, I guess to be prudent, I should move armor onto the road to make sure we don't get cut off there. And we are fully in range of everyone, but you know what, the HQ might as well move forward as well. And we are trying to preserve that fuel. We might as well also bring up, should we, no, yeah, we won't move any more forward, but we might as well also bring up our 16th, stuck way back there. There we go. Okay, good. So we're in pretty good shape. We're ready next turn when we lose our penalties. We'll be ready to do some more attacks, and that is going to do it for Army Group South. Guderian forces are back on. The 2nd Panzer Group is now active again, which is good to see. I'll probably use them a little bit in the south, but the highlight of this turn is going to be, for Army Group Center at least, is going to be taking Vitebsk. Or, you know, I mean, at least trying to. So I'll do this attack. I was even considering, and it's just so... The 9th Army units are just in terrible shape. I mean, I guess I can start with them. We'll just get all 3 of these guys to attack, because I do want them all to move in. And that's great. We broke those guys right away. And we'll get all 3 of them to move in here. And really, we'll just probably take maybe this middle guy and have him move over, because I do want to attack from all sides of Polot's next turn. So that means we're going to be shifting over, and, you know, you actually are out of supply slightly, but that wouldn't have stopped you at 29, 38, and 28 even. So, well, what I'm going to do is, this is a little bit crazy, I'm going to get this, no, it has to be this one. I'm going to get these guys to assist with the attack here, just so I have a little more oomph. Good, broke them. That's what I was hoping. We don't actually want to move the army in there. At least I don't expect that we want to do that. Look at that movement. Tons of movement available. So mainly I just want to make sure we have 4 sides of surround against Polak, or Vitebsk. That's the mission. The main mission of the day is to try to take this. And we're at 388 out of 400, so we're pretty much at the limit. They have 200, which is pretty strong. Although we are going to be fighting 1 motorized and 1 armored in there, which are going to fight a little bit worse. It's a minor city, so 75%, but still, that's also true for my motorized, but their armor unit, we can kind of consider that useless in there. It went okay. I think it went okay. So 400 heavy infantry, 1400 German infantry, normal infantry. They took 7,400 losses, so this is... Yeah, this is definitely over 4 to 1. In fact, it's really almost 5 to 1. in terms of losses. I don't really count the conscripts because those are basically an inexhaustible supply for the Soviets, so I don't really care. But more importantly, when you do push them back, you get the extra damage into their backline units. I keep talking about that, so more of the same here. And that should also, if we're lucky, we may also be able to do a follow-up attack. My plan is to actually push the 3rd Panzer Group south of the river almost completely at this point. So we're just going to start moving these guys in. It looks like we don't actually have the ability to attack a follow-up, to do a follow-up, that's very disappointing. I am going to move these guys in then. I don't think we'll attack them. I mean, we're looking at 26 readiness there. These guys are at 64 readiness, so I'll probably move them here, and you guys can move here. So that's good. I don't know why 9th Army is in has such low combat values right now, but their readiness is just in the dumps across the board. I'm moving 9th Army across north of the river because we can now trace a rail supply back to Berlin, so they should be fine doing that. And we look despite the low readiness, I think we're in a very good place to take Polacks next turn. And that will complete the 2 cities in the north that they've kind of been holding on to, I think, for a little bit too long. Not that we really have felt the difference. I don't think it really mattered. But probably what's going to happen next turn is after Polacks falls, we might go ahead and rest the 9th Army. It's not entirely, like the readiness decay, it's only 12% as we can see from fatigue. So it really can't be from that. I mean, even these guys starting at, it's just crazy. 29 is normally what they end the turn with on a bad turn, and they're starting the turn with that much. This is only 13% readiness penalty. Not sure what's going on there. Anyway, that's pretty much all we can do with the 9th Army. That's almost all what we can do with the 3rd Panzer Group. But I think we'll just continue to move the HQ forward, and maybe even one more. Yeah, we can move this. Just because, well, I mean, its truck supply is the truck goes from here to here or here to here. Not a big difference. We'll get our headquarters a little bit closer to the front. Somebody did point out to me that, this radius is dynamic during the turn. So that means if you move your HQ around, you can actually give bonuses to people. Higher bonus. Green is a higher bonus than blue, which is higher than red. I don't know the exact numbers, though. And I'm sure that's an RTFM, just read the frickin' manual type thing. One thing I want to do is prepare for next turn, potentially a breakthrough in the north. And I do need to make sure that we defend this hex sufficiently. So although I moved people out of this hex, I shouldn't have. I should have left maybe 1 infantry there. This is open territory, though. What I think I'll do is we'll put an armor in here, because we already have a motorized, and that's pretty good grounds for attacking this group. Put the motorized in here, which is already decent defense. And I think I'll move this guy there and that guy there, and now we're in good shape. I mean, we have at least 3 sides of attack on this unit, which is a good starting point for an attack next turn. Hugo's probably going to move south, and we're going to shift 4th Army. Again, 4th Army's destination is all the way down in the very bottom of the south. 2nd Army is probably going to take over the middle position with, probably right next to 3rd and 2nd Panzer groups. They're going to be fighting alongside each other. And then 9th Army is going to be responsible for the northern front, the northern flank of Army Group Center. Anyways, that's in theory what we want to do. We do have 21k fuel, so fuel's not at all a concern. We can kind of do whatever we want with that. But the thing is, attacks are just, it's harder to attack for other reasons at this point. Alright, artillery bonus is currently going to, it's going to the 4th Army. Well, one thing I'd like to do is clear these really ambitious group of tanks. Since they fight worse on the defensive, what I'm going to do is actually have the attacks come from 4th Army, and I'll get this whole thing going, moving that guy a little bit closer first. I don't know if it'll make a difference. Again, I don't really know how that works. So I'm just expecting that these tanks will really fold quickly. We get a nice 20% concentric bonus from this. Otherwise, it's infantry. This is the true blitzkrieg, the Schwerpunkt. Well, this is more... I don't know if it's really either of those things, but it's really just the... whatever the idea is, that you let your infantry do the attack, and then you follow up attacks with... it's almost like as old as the dawn of time. Let the cav chase down the units that are retreating, and that's what we plan to do here. So it looks like we at least didn't take very many casualties, but we didn't inflict too many casualties either. Lowered their readiness, so at least the follow-up attack should be easier. It looks like they went north, which I was, honest to God, was not expecting that at all. At all. And I wanted this unit to retreat south, so he's pretty much got to move that way. He can't do anything else. Okay, we can do a follow-up attack on this tank. It would be... So that's something we could do, is maybe move this motorized in. I'd rather get the tank involved against tanks. So this is kind of tricky because everyone's going to have to move to accommodate the fact that we're now kind of vacating the line. This is a tricky one. And why do I want to punch a hole here? Well, you know what? I don't really need to this turn, so maybe I'll hold off. But what I'd like to do is move this unit into the crossroads as well. It is plains. And this motorized might need to fight, might need to move into here as well. It is kind of like the area we need to defend, so I will do that. I'll move this unit. Well, you know, honestly, the best thing to do is to move units to leapfrog units even. That way we retain some of our entrenchment bonus. So these guys will retain their entrenchment bonus. That's good. This guy is going to be flying solo, but it's alright. We're going to get these guys for this. I don't know. I didn't plan ahead. Sorry, I apologize. I probably need to pause and think about this for a second. Didn't plan where these guys are going to go. I don't want to give up this territory. Okay, one thing I do want to say. I don't know if I've already said this. Hopefully I haven't beaten this topic like a dead horse, but I don't want to give up the riverfront. I really don't. And I think I've said this, at least I've said it enough times in my head. So basically, I don't want to ever give up this hex or this. I mean, obviously these hexes, even though there would be some major benefit to doing that for defensive purposes, it'll hurt us so much when we want to retake territory that they get the same defensive bonus. I mean, that's the real thing with rivers, right? It's a double-edged sword. You can sit in the forest and you can attack into the plains. And that's really not a double-edged sword, right? You get the defensive bonus of the forest, and the enemy next to you doesn't get it at all. But river's obviously not that way because they're a hex side, not a hex. So that's why I want to try to keep the Soviets as much as I can off the river, because it's going to hurt when I want to attack them from multiple sides, or, you know, even if I just have to attack them across the river at all, that's bad. Okay, man, I just spent so much time clicking through all these different guys, and what have I come up with? Well, I think that 4th Army, they are currently given the additional artillery fire support, so I have to say, unfortunately, the burden is going to be on them to do some of the work here. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to have to just take on the chin some German casualties in order to get like another pocket going or something. So short-term loss for long-term gain. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make type thing. Because I think that there is a weakness that we can exploit. What I want to do, I feel like if we can eliminate some of their forces, pocket and then eliminate, even something like 5 or 8, that would be so helpful on a front which is just totally saturated with Soviet troops. So that's the plan. I want to try to get the multiple sides of surround here. On this one, I can kind of do it. This is just roll the dice. We're hoping that this goes well for us. Hopefully 1 to 2 is what I'm hoping. Yeah, okay. So this is not great. Obviously, this is a lot of losses. Our goal of like 10 to 1, this is nowhere near that. But again, we have to do a little bit of work right now in order to free up the means, the avenue for an encirclement, which will pay huge dividends later. So that was very expensive. The poor troops that the poor infantry, they took some losses. There's no two ways about that. But the good news is that I think that we're starting to break through a little bit over here. And I don't know if they'll just pull back intelligently or not, but we're going to also do another attack over here. I think that this armor is pretty isolated. We can get 10% bonus. I think this is a pretty good odds, 185 to 30. Okay, we did take a tank loss. It is a Panzer IV, so not the tank loss you want to see. But this is where I hope the follow-up attack will be good. And is it crazy for me to move out there with the cav? I would rather have the cav attack, but you know what? The motorized just gonna have to do it. So we're gonna do a follow-up attack. I hope this doesn't go too poorly for us. Well, it's 50% across the board for tanks, so I hope that this just goes well. And part of the reason why I'm doing this attack is because the Guderian's army did get the plus 20 action points for, you know, whatever the bonus is that I always look at the beginning of the turn. So we are working with that. You can see that these guys are at 60 and 65, and this one's at 120. So we do have the opportunity to move some units forward. I was even, depending on how well this one went, and I don't think it went well enough, I was considering maybe trying to break through this unit this turn. But I think I'm going to be fine doing this attack, and then hoping we can do one more attack. Okay, that did not go well. Now, it didn't go poorly for us. We only lost another Panzer IV, oh my god. Well, I mean, we have Panzer IVs, we probably don't have any of those in stock. Panzer IIs I'd be okay with, but anyway, we didn't do much damage for what happened. And I was hoping to use the last follow-up attack on the motorized, but I think at this point we're just going to do this attack on this guy, because he should just break. And that's exactly what happened. Okay, good. Don't know if I'm going to move forward. Again, we can be very aggressive with our fuel. We have tons of fuel coming in. And this line is almost entirely German rail now. So, like, behind the scenes, those German engineers they've gotten this rail almost completely all the way up to Orsha, converted to the German gauge. So things are going to go very well for us in Army Group Center as far as logistics goes, which is great. That's why I'm pretty confident about being aggressive right here, at least fuel-wise. So that probably concludes what we want to do down here. And honestly, the only thing I'm probably going to do this turn in terms of getting the North Pincer going is just move some troops forward, and I don't actually know which troops to move forward yet. Oh yeah, the SS I definitely want in position. I think we'll do this one down here. And I probably want you to move forward too. Well, you know what? I'm going to get plenty of troops into this one, so let's... Oh, there's another one. Oh, that's the one. I had it already. That's the one I want. So that's another 80, and then you can move over here for 80. And that's pretty good, a bunch of firepower we have on the front now. The 3rd Panzer Group, I'm going to move up here so that they're ready for their attacks next turn. And you probably also move forward. I think you'll also step into this. I'm not sure exactly what we want to do, but, you know, if they have half a brain, the Soviet commander, he's going to realize that I'm probably planning something in this area. Thank God it's an AI, and I don't think they do, but, you know, it shouldn't be hard for them to read what my next move appears to be. I want to have tanks in position to exploit any kind of other gains we might want to do. So I'm just going to send the 10th Panzer south of the river from Orsha. And then having infantry nearby to do whatever, I think it's really important. I guess that they will double defend this one, because that's, I mean, technically not really, but in theory that could be considered a weak point. And maybe even it's time for the 2nd Army to move north. I think we have one. Don't we have one? Yeah, we do have one. I hate that these two are basically the same number, or same color. 2nd Army. Okay, no. So there's no 2nd Panzer Group divisions there. That's what I was looking for, to make sure that there were not. There is one. This guy can move further south as well. He would have been a great candidate. In fact, we can probably do this and shift this guy. Well, I guess. What do we have? We have 5 in there already. Oh, this is the 2nd Army one. That's the 2nd Panzer Group. Okay. Well, the 2nd Army Group can just... The 2nd Army guy can just move north then. I don't know what he will do there, but I guess it would allow the 4th Army to move further south. Just dancing around with everyone. Yeah, I'll do that. That's fine to me. You guys can all start moving south as well. Okay. So that's the plan here, is just shift everyone south. Get one of you guys all the way down there. And you'll move over here. So I think that's good movement. It could be a vulnerability that we're going to move this motorized out, but I want people ready for the counterattacks. I mean, for the follow-up attacks. So that, in my opinion, that just has to happen. And honestly, I kind of want 4th Army headquarters to move further south as well. Now that this... Well, we don't have that many units that far south yet, but that's definitely where I want them to go. You can actually move there for free, and I will do that since we quite overloaded this area. I'll keep one of the 2 in this hex, just in case I want to lead off with an attack with 4th Army, but that looks good. So you can see the game plan here. It's, I don't know, like, it's funny to me. This is something I fixated on a little bit in the time off camera. I didn't really see that before. I didn't really see this possibility. I mean, it was... The South in particular was like, yeah, maybe that looks a little weak. But, like, deciding on a strategy and going with it, I mean, I wish sometimes, well, I don't really wish, but it would be fun if I had extra free time, you know, if I was a full-time gamer, you know, if I could just sit there and analyze the situation without feeling like I'm wasting time. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but... Well, I'm gonna bounce through the different army groups and make some high-level comments and also do some posture switching. So bear with me for a little bit more. We, in the north, we're going to swap over 18th Army to a sustained posture, offensive. I call sustained offensive. It's the same thing in my book. Yeah, sustained offensive posture. Yeah, why we're doing this? Because essentially we don't expect to face any enemies in the immediate couple of turns. And we're going to still move, which means we'll accrue fatigue if we're in the blitzkrieg posture, because it doesn't give us any action point benefit if we're not a panzer group. So we get those guys off, and they'll probably be a good candidate to rest as soon as they get into a little further north and we start encountering more enemies' forces. I also do want to eventually rest them, yeah. But 16th Army is just going to have to be the one holding the line for a little bit here. In center, plan is to rest 9th Army, but not this turn. Let's take pullouts first. And not only that, but I also want to get them into a little bit of a better defensive position, not have the HQ on the front, for crying out loud. Just a high-level plan for next turn. We obviously are starting this pincer surround. I mean, it may not happen, but at least we're going to try to make it work. And for that 4th Army, which has got a lot of fatigue buildup, unfortunately, and does need probably to be rested pretty soon, I think that they're just going to have to roll up their sleeves, get their hands dirty, and it may be a bloody one for them, but I need the infantry to open up the hole so that the Panzer, so Guderian's forces, can break through. Like, this force has like 6. That's just... Even this, I don't want the Panzers to head on against this. I'd rather the infantry break them, and then we go from there. Just to eliminate some forces and hopefully soften up their front a little bit. I otherwise don't have any posture switches this turn there. In the south, we basically have nothing but posture switches. This is just I think almost everybody is going to be swapping over. 17th, yep. 3rd, yep. We're also going to be doing 4th for sure. And 4th is actually in a great position. Almost an ideal position for doing the rest for them, because they're on a defensive front, they're where they need to be. Lots of reasons why you would do it. 11th versus 6th. So 6th, I think I'll do the swap as well. Although, not as necessary with them because they aren't going to be moving. I mean, I guess they're not going to be moving much. But I'm still going to do it with them so that they'll be a candidate eventually to be rested as well. Again, there's no action point benefit for armies, these normal infantry armies. And then the result may surprise you, you know, a clickbait type thumbnail type title. Who are we actually going to rest? I mean, 4th Romanian, everyone needs it, right? But the winner goes to our armor group. First Panzer Group. And it's going to be very awkward with them surrounding a town and then just deciding to park and start smoking some cigarettes, repairing their trucks and all that. But that's what's going to happen because a couple reasons. A minor reason is that... well, I actually forgot the minor reason, but the main reason, doesn't matter. There was two reasons, but the main one is just that they're way far ahead of everyone. The minor reason is that we don't really want them to attack the city anyway. I mean, it's really minor. But they're so far ahead of everyone, they need to sit and wait anyway. Why not rest them while they're already switched over to a sustained offensive posture? It's the perfect time. Everyone else needs to be moving, and they need to be stuck here. So why not rest them while we wait? Oh, the other reason was also that the conscripts haven't really built up a concentrated force yet, so I don't fear too much from being attacked. Hopefully we won't be, or they won't be successful attacks. And now I think we're done with the turn. Okay, here we go. Alright. Individual units are moving. Looks like they're actually pulling back on Army Group South. Those are the conscripts. And shifting east and then north. Okay. Oh, somebody got very aggressive there. They almost... I don't know if they're cutting me off in the north there, and reshifting in the center. Also shifting in the southern part of Army Group South. They might actually be trying to foil my attempt to pincer, and moving to the northern... Moving aggressively to... Oh, okay, a battle. 30,000 to 1,400. Looks like they did defeat us, though. So that's, I mean, not great. And here we go. What do we got? Meeting with Hausinger. Proposal for radical change in the furlough policy for Africa. Relief after 6 months without return. Don't know what that means. Ooh, got lots of bonuses. Von Lieb. We got 8th, 16th. Von Bach gave us 3rd, 9th, 4th, and 2nd. Wow, both panzer groups there. Which is good since 2nd is now on the sustained posture. And we have 1st, 17th, and 11th. First panzer group there is kind of a meaningless one. They're being rested. Siege artillery. I guess they're not really doing anything because they're not near a city. Wow, fuel looks pretty good. 2+, 3+. And not great in south. Okay, Dear Hugo, Gunther writes that his division has shipped across the Mediterranean and is now in Libya. He says that they were petrified of being sunk by a Tommy submarine during the sea crossing, but that they made it safely across. Or across safely. By the sound of it, Gunther isn't a sailor like his father. He complained of being seasick and not being able to sleep in the cramped cabins. But Gunther being Gunther, he'll doubtless bounce back and make the most of his situation. I'm a little concerned that he may marry a local, though. He's very naive. Love, Mother. Probably don't have enough time to do a full front, so what I'll do is I'll just go to stats, because every Decisive Campaign Barbarossa Tortuga Power video needs the stats in it. And we'll see that the Soviet troops has actually dropped back down. And I don't know the Soviet reinforcement schedule, which is cool, because that makes it a little bit realistic, like neither did the Germans in real life. But, you know, I mean, it's probably in the manual somewhere. Anyway, I don't know it, so I don't know how many reinforcements we're expecting the Soviets to get. It's good to see that this goes down. And that becomes even more relevant when we see how many casualties that that we inflicted upon them. So the biggest single turn casualty was the closing of the Bialystok pocket, and there was a lot of other minor pockets probably also closed at that time. I mean, during turn 2 and turn 3, we were just so aggressive, and a lot of Soviet casualties. This is 170 to 490. That's 320,000 Soviet troops in just a 4-day period. And this is actually like 1285, 1515. I'm going to call that 230,000. So if we take into account the fact that they lost 230,000 and they lost the total drop is only 50,000. That means that they gained 180,000 troops. That's a huge reinforcement. I mean, we're not going to be able to close another Prosco pocket every turn, practically no turns at all. In fact, the other thing I have prepared for the end of the episode, a little thank you to all the viewers. it'll actually show how our momentum has really slowed down, which is expected. I mean, that's exactly this game does a really good job of, like, I feel like it does a great job of putting you in a very similar situation to the Germans. I mean, our situation is so different than the Germans already based on our earlier successes, and I feel like we're in much better shape overall, but nonetheless, we're kind of there. So anyways, that's the stats, and the other thing I wanted to do is kind of a thank you to everyone, because this series has just been so positive. A lot of comments, a lot of positive comments, just a good vibe. I mean, the whole community, it's like the golden Tortuga Power community experience, in my opinion, where I'm putting a lot of effort into these. I'm very excited to play every one of these turns, and the comments also very full of positive individuals. I can put this a little bit in, it's everything's relative, right? But by comparison with my Rule the Wave series, where that game frustrates me sometimes, and I wear that a little bit on my sleeve sometimes, and I feel like that kind of negative vibe, people might start wondering, well, why is Tortuga even playing a game that, he gets so frustrated with? I obviously like a lot of things about Rule the Waves, but, like, this is a functional game. It's obviously a very dated interface, but I feel like it's extremely functional, and how often have I complained about the interface in this game, despite the fact that, it's very dated, and it's not great. I mean, it's not going to win any awards, but it's very functional. I find that that's not always the case with Rule Waves. Anyway, so as a thank you, what I did is I pulled up this. I tried several different things so I could actually capture my cursor. I can't actually capture my cursor, but I'm going to pull up a slideshow of all of the turns that we've passed so far, and we'll just kind of leaf through these. I don't have, on the right side of the screen, you can see that there's like that red shading that I added at some point, turn 6 or turn 4 or 5, I don't know when. I don't have that in the first few screenshots, and actually the very first screenshot is already, I think, the end of my movement, so the end of my turn for turn 2. Because I guess after we had started playing this series, I went and started another German campaign, maybe to test something, I forget what, and I ended the turn, and that actually overwrote the screenshots for the first couple turns. Not a big deal, because not a whole lot was happening in the first turn and the second turn, but so basically this is our second turn where we ended, and you can see in the north, wow, we're pretty far. We actually look like we're almost to Dunenberg. Going a little bit further south to Army Group Center, we see that Bialystok has been captured. Obviously, Army Group North hasn't taken Kaunas yet, but Bialystok is captured, and we're starting our surround on Brest-Litovsk. In Army Group South, the two fronts are very separated from each other. And it looks like we have a little push in the Romanian front all the way to the river. But this is just the early days. So we'll move forward. This is now it's going to show, this is the end of my turn, and now it's going to show the end of the Soviet turn. So we should only see Soviet units move now. And there they go. They go pull back, and all my grayed out units turn to not grayed out, because now we're ready. We're given action points back. So what was significant about that one? Not a whole lot. Soviets just pull back. I always like to watch, especially in the north. They just form these nice lines. The AI in this game is pretty good. I mean, it has its misses every now and then, but pretty good overall. Okay, our turn. Huge advance in Army Group Center. Enormous. So first of all, we took the Bialystok, we eliminated. And just look how far our units end up, how far east they end up. And you have this one, if you look at the red dotted line right in the middle that separates center and south, we've got that one guy driving all the way to Gomel. It's just taking so much territory. I wish that we had the red shading on. This would just be, probably this is the single turn with the most territory we took from the Soviets. And I don't think that's a metric that is stored in the game, but I feel like that's probably the case. Anyway, we'll see what the Soviets do. I think they form a nice line in the north. Actually, in the north, if you want to see, we actually don't take territory. This is where I had to consolidate in order to actually be able to take Kaunas, and things weren't going well up there. Anyways, we'll see what the Soviets do now. Yep, they form a nice line in the north. You can see that. And then in the south, looks like they kind of wedged themselves a little bit more. But otherwise, in Army Group Center, you can see that after eliminating that Bialystok pocket, they were just, even after their turn, there's no Soviet units in sight. So let's see what I do on my turn. And this is nice. Now we actually get the red shading. You can see how helpful that is. But oh my gosh, look at Gomo. We're all the way to Gomo. The huge thrust all the way along the road to Gomo. In the south, we actually take some significant ground. It looks like it was kind of taken in this last one, but all the way to Odessa, basically. And then we pushed a little bit north from that. We were making good ground. And this is where I think I mentioned about the possibility of actually doing a huge encirclement, what would eventually happen and become the Proskuro Pocket. Anyway, we'll move forward again, see what the Soviets do. They probably form their normal defensive lines. In fact, they're so out of forces, even in Army Group North and Army Group Center, that, you know, there's just basically no Soviet units on the map. My turn. Oh, another huge thrust. Jeez. I say that. I mean, so I'm looking at Army Group Center, the north part of it. Ah, that's just a huge jump. Army Group North as well made a huge jump. We actually got across the river, which is an important thing for being able to actually be able to take Riga and all those places. All right, let's move forward again. Soviet units will pull back. And then we're almost linked up in the south. We'll put another turn forward. Wow, huge gains. Huge. First of all, in the south, we are almost to Kiev. This is actually probably the turn which enabled me to take Kiev. Now going back and then forward again. In the north, we took a lot of ground. In the center. That's actually the point at which we took, I'm blinking on it, not Minsk, but not the other one, the Orsha. Man, that was a great turn taking Orsha, and that has been so significant. We've held there ever since. It's crazy, because this is only number 9 out of 20 slides. I gotta go a lot faster, but that's basically where we are now in Army Group Center. After only, this is probably like turn 6 or so, is where we are today. That's crazy. So we're going to see probably a lot of static things happening. That's the Soviet term, but a lot of static things will happen in the north. I guess in the center. No, that was a huge push in the center again, man. I guess just forming up the lines. And actually, south didn't make too many advances. I think we're getting ready to form that pocket. We'll move forward again. Soviet turn. This is when the mud came, so that was obviously going to be a problem. And I'll move forward again because we didn't really have much to do there. Oh, that was the Soviet turn. Sorry, this is my turn now. Yeah, we didn't really move forward during the mud. Not too surprising. Made some pretty good games in Army Group South, though, the northern part of it. Let me do that one more time. Boom. Jeez. Big. So that's where we were able to fan out beyond Kiev. All right, Soviets pulled back after that. And then, of course, they don't have mud. Why? And they actually started to form a line in Army Group Center. And this is also where we see that their pocket is cut off in the south, the Proskuro Pocket, as I call it. They also had a pocket cut off in the north. I forgot what city that was, next to Dunenberg. And then we eliminated that and moved forward. Let's go back and forward again. Army Group Center basically stays static already. The Proskuro Pocket becomes even more pronounced as we move forward in the north of Army Group South, I should say. Okay, we'll watch the Soviets pull back. And then we'll go forward again. And that was pretty good, really good gains in the south, actually. Huge gains in the south. In the north, yeah, a little bit in the north. But mostly in the south. Do that one more time in the south. Okay, now the Soviets will pull back. Or really not at this point. Now they're actually moving forward towards the front. And then my last turn was this, which was almost nothing. Basically almost nothing at all. And that takes us to the very end, and the best thing of all is to showcase from start to finish, this is where we are now, and this is where it all began. I love that. I just love that. Oh, it's really cool to see how much progress we've made. But I see that I'm really over on time, so I'm going to have to call the video to a close here. Anyways, just love doing this. It's good to see how far we've come. Thanks for watching. Until the next one, take care. Happy Thanksgiving to those in the Americas, and I'll catch you for the next one.